A woman can love you deeply today and act like you don't exist tomorrow. And if you've ever pulled back from a woman, if you've ever gone from giving her your full attention to suddenly acting indifferent, you've likely seen a reaction you never expected. Some women get desperate, suddenly chasing you like their life depends on it. Others become ice cold, acting as if they never cared in the first place. And then, there's the worst reaction of all, the silent one. The moment she realizes you've lost interest and instead of fighting for you, she simply stops caring. This is where most men get confused, because the way a woman reacts when she senses you pulling away is not always what you expect. Some men think, if I lose interest, she'll do everything to get me back. But in reality, many women will let you go without a second thought, especially if she senses that you no longer value her. Now let's make something clear. A woman's reaction to your disinterest is not random. It follows a pattern. Her response is based on how she viewed you, how she felt about you, and most importantly, the type of woman she is. Some women will do anything to regain your attention. Others will walk away as if you never mattered. Some will even start playing mind games, pretending they don't care when. In reality, they're waiting for you to break first. But here's the part that most men fail to understand. A woman's reaction is not about you. It's about her. It's about how much power she thinks she had in the relationship. It's about whether she saw you as a prize or as an option. And that's exactly what we're going to break down in this video. Because once you understand how women react when they realize you've lost interest, you'll never be confused again. You'll stop overanalyzing, stop second-guessing, and most importantly, stop falling for the wrong women who only value you when you're pulling away. So let's dive in. Here's exactly how women react when they sense you're no longer interested, and what it really means. 1. She becomes obsessed with winning. You back when a woman realizes she's losing you, something strange happens. Even if she wasn't fully invested before, the moment she senses your disinterest, she suddenly feels the urge to pull you back in. It's not always about love, it's about control. The shift in power catches her off guard, and she feels like she's losing something she thought she had secured. This is why some women become obsessed with getting your attention back. She starts texting more, calling more, and even showing up in places she never used to go, just to run into you by accident. She suddenly remembers all the things you liked about her and starts doing them again. If she used to be distant, she'll now act warm and affectionate. If she never cared about your interests, she'll suddenly develop a deep passion for them. Why does this happen? Because losing your attention is a challenge, and many women love a challenge. Some women don't even realize they liked you that much until they feel you slipping away. Your disinterest makes her wonder, why doesn't he want me anymore? What changed? Was I not good enough? And those thoughts push her into action. For example, imagine a guy named David. He was dating Sarah for 6 months, but she was always half in, half out. She'd take hours to text back, cancel plans at the last minute, and act indifferent whenever he complimented her. One day, David stopped trying. He didn't argue. He didn't beg for attention. He just let go. And that's when Sarah's behavior completely changed. She started sending long, emotional texts. She suddenly had free time whenever David wanted to meet. She even posted pictures on social media that hinted at how much she missed him. But here's the catch. She didn't act this way when she thought she had him. She only changed when she realized she was losing him. This is a classic reaction. When a woman feels like she's in control, she doesn't always value what she has. But the moment she senses she's losing something, especially something she thought was hers, she fights for it. The real question is, does she want you back because she truly values you, or because she hates losing? And that's what most men fail to understand. 2. She acts like she never cared. Some women don't chase when they realize you've lost interest. Instead, they act like you never mattered in the first place. They switch off their emotions overnight, as if the entire relationship was just a casual thing to them. But here's the truth. This is rarely real. It's a defense mechanism. When a woman acts like she never cared, it's often because deep down, She doesn't want to admit that losing you hurts. She doesn't want to seem weak, emotional, or affected. So instead of chasing you, she puts on a mask of indifference. She acts like she's completely fine, like she's already moved on, and sometimes, like you never even existed. This is when you'll see things like, she stops texting you instantly, with zero explanation. She unfollows you on social media and removes every trace of your relationship. She starts posting happy pictures, showing the world how unbothered she is. The goal? To make you wonder if she ever cared at all. For example, let's say Mark was dating Lisa. They had a deep connection, or so he thought. But over time, Mark started feeling like Lisa wasn't putting in as much effort, so he pulled back. Instead of trying to fix things, Lisa completely cut him off. No message, no explanation. Just silence. And within days, she was out partying, laughing, and posting pictures with new people. At first, Mark felt confused. Did she ever love me? Did she even care? But what Mark didn't realize is that Lisa's reaction wasn't about him. It was about control. By acting like she never cared, she was trying to make him feel the loss. She wanted him to question everything, to doubt his decision, and maybe even to come crawling back just to prove she once loved him. But here's the harsh truth. If a woman can erase you that quickly, she was never as invested as you thought. Or worse, she's emotionally guarded and refuses to show weakness. Either way, a woman who truly valued you wouldn't pretend you never existed. So when a woman acts like she doesn't care after you lose interest, don't take the bait. Because the moment you try to prove she once loved you, you're falling into her trap. Satri. She starts talking to other men instantly. The moment a woman senses you're pulling away, one of the most common reactions is immediately entertaining other men, even if she wasn't doing it before. And let's be honest, you've probably seen this happen before. One day, she's all about you. The next, she's suddenly surrounded by new friends, casually bringing up other guys in conversation, or conveniently running into her male best friend more often than usual. Why does this happen? Because deep down, she wants to remind herself, and you, that she has options. A woman never wants to feel like she's the one being left behind. If she senses your interest fading, she won't just sit there feeling rejected. She'll respond by making sure you see that she's still desirable. And here's where it gets interesting. Sometimes she's not even doing it because she truly wants these other men. She's doing it for validation, to prove to herself that she can replace you if she wants to. And in some cases, she's doing it to make you jealous, hoping you'll snap out of your indifference and chase her again. This is when you start noticing things like her posting more selfies, especially ones where she looks extra good. Her suddenly going out more, even though she wasn't that social before. New male friends appearing out of nowhere, guys she suddenly talks about but never mentioned before. Subtle digs at you in conversations. Things like, I forgot how fun it is to just be single and not worry about anyone. The irony? Many times a woman who does this is hurt. But instead of admitting it, she's covering it up by proving she's still in control. She wants you to see that she's moving on, whether it's true or not. And here's the real test. If you react, she wins. Because that's the goal. To get a response from you. To see if she can still pull you back in. The moment you start questioning who she's with, or why she's acting this way, she knows she still has power over you. But the truth is, if a woman instantly replaces you the second she feels you pulling away, she was never truly yours. A woman who actually valued you won't need to prove how quickly she can move on, because she won't feel the need to. 4. She tests you to see if you'll chase. A woman's first instinct when she realizes you're pulling away isn't always to panic. It's to test you. She wants to see how serious you are. Are you really losing interest, or is this just a game? So what does she do? She starts throwing little bait traps to see if you'll react. She might suddenly text you out of nowhere, acting casual, as if nothing's wrong. Hey, hope you're good. Not because she actually wants a conversation, but because she wants to see if you'll jump at the chance to talk. She might bring up inside jokes, send old pictures, or casually mention places you used to go together, just to see if you still care. If she's really bold, she might even say something indirect like, Guess you're too busy for me these days. But here's where most men mess up. They fall for it. They take the bait. They immediately respond, showing her that even though they acted distant, they were just waiting for her to reach out. And the moment she sees that, the game is over. Because now she knows she still has power over you. Men need to wake up to this. A woman will always test your level of interest before she fully reacts to it. If she senses that you're slipping away, her first move isn't to beg. It's to confirm whether she actually needs to. And the reality is, if you react too quickly, she'll pull back again. Because now she sees that your loss of interest wasn't real. It was just a strategy. And once she realizes that, she's right back in control. So if you ever notice a woman suddenly dropping subtle hints to see if you'll chase, understand what's happening. It's a test. And the best way to pass it? Don't fall for it. If your interest in her is truly fading, let it fade. If she wants you back, she'll make it clear. She won't just send breadcrumbs hoping you'll do all the work. And if she doesn't, then you just dodged a woman who only wanted you when she felt like she was losing you. 5. She tries to make you jealous on purpose. When a woman feels you slipping away, one of the oldest tricks in the book is trying to make you jealous. And trust me, it's not always obvious. She won't necessarily come out and say, "Look, I'm talking to other guys now." No, she's smarter than that. Instead, she'll be subtle. She'll start dropping little hints, just enough to make you wonder. She suddenly starts mentioning other men more, how funny or interesting they are. She posts cryptic captions like, "Some people just have a different vibe," hoping you'll wonder who she's talking about. She becomes extra active on social media, liking and commenting on other guys' posts, just enough for you to notice. She goes out of her way to bump into male friends when she knows you're around. Why does she do this? Because she wants to trigger an emotional reaction from you. She wants to see if you'll get angry, if you'll confront her, or if you'll suddenly start giving her more attention. And here's the sad truth. A lot of men fall for this. The moment they see her showing interest in someone else, they panic. They start trying to win her back, suddenly texting her more, checking up on her, or even competing with other guys for her attention. And that's exactly what she wants. Because the moment you react, she knows she still has control. She knows you still care, and your loss of interest was never real. It was just a bluff. And the worst part? Once she sees that, she might not even want you anymore. Men need to wake up to this game. If a woman's response to you pulling away is to play childish jealousy tactics instead of having a real conversation, she's not worth your time. A mature, high-value woman won't play games. If she cares about you, she'll address the situation like an adult. She won't try to manipulate you into chasing her again. She'll simply ask where you stand. So if a woman suddenly starts making unnecessary moves to make you jealous, don't take the bait. Because the moment you stop reacting, she loses all her power. 6. She blames you for everything. When a woman realizes you've lost interest, one of the most common reactions is turning the entire situation against you. Suddenly you're the bad guy. She won't admit that she played a part in the disconnect. She won't acknowledge that maybe she took you for granted or didn't put in enough effort. Instead, she'll rewrite the story to make herself the victim and you the villain. You just switched up for no reason. You never really cared about me, did you? Wow, so I was wasting my time this whole time? I should have known you'd be just like all the others. Sound familiar? This is classic emotional manipulation. Instead of taking responsibility for what led to your disinterest, she makes it all about how you hurt her. She wants to guilt trip you into feeling like you did something wrong, even if your only crime was realizing she wasn't what you wanted anymore. And here's where most men mess up. They start explaining themselves. They feel the need to defend their decision, to prove that they weren't trying to hurt her, or worse. They start apologizing when they did nothing wrong. And guess what? The moment you start explaining yourself, you're playing right into her hands. She's not looking for an honest conversation. She's looking to make you feel bad enough to come back. Because if she can make you feel like you abandoned her, there's a chance you'll rethink everything and start chasing her again. Men need to understand this. You do not owe anyone an explanation for losing interest. If you pulled away for a reason, that's your decision. If she truly valued the relationship, she would have noticed the shift before it got to this point. So if a woman suddenly starts blaming you, flipping the script, and acting like you're the bad guy, don't fall into the trap. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to argue. And you definitely don't need to apologize for something that was never your fault. Let her talk. Let her blame. And then keep moving forward. Because the moment you stop entertaining the guilt trip, she loses all power over you. 7. She becomes overly sweet and submissive. When a woman realizes she's losing you, one of the sneakiest reactions is suddenly becoming the perfect woman. She goes from being distant, moody, or unbothered to sweet, caring, and overly submissive overnight. Suddenly, she's texting you first, complimenting you more, asking about your day, and even agreeing with everything you say, even the things she used to argue about. Why? Because she's trying to win back control. She senses that you've lost interest, and instead of confronting the situation directly, she switches strategies. If being difficult didn't keep you, maybe being the ideal woman will. This is when you start noticing things like, she suddenly wants to cook for you, even if she never cared about that before. She stops arguing over the small things she used to fight about. She starts acting extra affectionate, saying things like, I just appreciate you so much. She begins giving you more space and saying, I don't want to stress you out, babe. At first, it might seem like she's finally changing for the better, but here's the problem, it's not real. This is not her naturally evolving into a better partner. This is survival mode. She's acting this way because she feels like she's losing control. The moment she senses you're interested again, guess what happens? She goes right back to how she was before. And this is where most men get fooled. They think, wow, she finally understands me. She's finally treating me right. But in reality, she's only acting this way because she feels threatened. A woman who truly values you won't wait until she's losing you to start treating you right. She'll appreciate you from the beginning, not just when she's afraid of losing her position in your life. So if a woman suddenly flips her personality the moment she senses you pulling away, don't fall for it too quickly. Watch her actions over time. Because if she's only changing to keep you, not because she truly values you, it's only a matter of time before the act falls apart. 8. She pretends she's better off without you. When a woman realizes you've lost interest, one of the quickest defense mechanisms she'll use is acting like she's completely unbothered. As if she's suddenly better off without you. She won't beg. She won't argue. She won't even try to fix things. Instead, she'll go into full performance mode, doing everything she can to convince herself, and everyone else, that she's perfectly fine. She starts posting about new beginnings and self-love, as if she just escaped a prison. She makes sure to remind people how happy and at peace she is now. She suddenly picks up new hobbies, goes out more, and acts as if she's never been more alive. She starts using phrases like, everything happens for a reason, or I just needed this space to grow. Now let's be honest. Sometimes this is real. Some women genuinely move on, improve themselves, and grow from the experience. And if that's the case, good for her. But in many cases, it's an act. She's not actually happy. You just wounded her ego, and she's trying to convince herself that she's fine. She's not thriving. She just doesn't want you to think you had any impact on her emotions. And here's where most men mess up. They start doubting themselves. They see her looking happier and start thinking, wait, was I the problem? Did I make her unhappy? No. What you're seeing is her response to rejection. And instead of admitting it hurts, she's throwing herself into distractions and trying to prove to the world and herself that she didn't lose anything valuable. A mature woman would process her emotions privately. She wouldn't need to put on a show. But when a woman suddenly amplifies how happy and independent she is the second you lose interest, it's not about her happiness. It's about making sure you believe she never needed you in the first place. So don't fall for the performance. The loudest people are usually the ones hurting the most. If she was truly unbothered, she wouldn't have to prove it. 9. She disappears, then comes back stronger. One of the strangest but most effective tactics a woman can use when she realizes you've lost interest is completely disappearing. She doesn't argue. She doesn't try to make you jealous. She doesn't even act hurt. Instead, she vanishes. No texts, no social media updates, no accidental run-ins. It's like she was never there. At first, this might seem like she's moved on for good. And that's exactly what she wants you to think. Because here's what happens next. After a few weeks, or even months, she suddenly reappears. Stronger, more confident, and seemingly better than ever. She looks more attractive than before. New outfits, different hairstyle, glowing skin. She starts showing up in places you didn't expect, looking like she's thriving. She subtly re-engages with you, either through a casual text or by liking your posts. She seems like she's completely healed and happier than ever. Why does she do this? Because she wants you to feel like you made a mistake. By disappearing, she creates a mystery. She makes you wonder what happened, where she went, and if she's doing better without you. Then, when she finally comes back, looking better, acting better, and seemingly unfazed, it's designed to trigger a reaction in you. She wants you to think, wow, she actually looks better without me. Did I underestimate her? Maybe I was wrong to lose interest. And here's the dangerous part. Many men fall for this. They start reminiscing. They start thinking about how things could have worked out. And before they know it, they're the ones reaching out to her. And that's when she wins. Because the moment you show interest again, she regains control. Now you are the one chasing her. Now she doesn't have to wonder if you still care. Because you just proved it. This is why smart men never fall for the comeback. If you lost interest for a real reason, don't let her strategic disappearance and reappearance fool you. A woman who truly grows and moves on doesn't come back to prove it. She just moves on. 10. She moves on, but leaves the door open. Sometimes when a woman realizes you've lost interest, she won't beg, play games, or even try to get you back. Instead, she'll move on, but not completely. She won't chase, but she won't fully let go either. She'll start dating someone new, but she'll still keep an eye on you. She'll act like she's done, but she'll still leave little signs that she's not entirely over it. How does she do this? By leaving the door open, just in case. She randomly checks in with a casual, "hope you're doing well" text. She keeps liking your social media posts but never actually reaches out. She runs into you accidentally, but acts completely normal. She tells mutual friends she has no hard feelings about the past, so they can casually mention it to you. The goal? She wants to keep the possibility alive. She's not necessarily waiting for you, but she doesn't want to fully close the chapter either, because deep down, she wants to know that if she ever wanted to come back, she could. This is what a lot of men fail to see. They think, if she's texting me, she must still be interested. But in reality, she's just securing her options. She's making sure you don't completely forget about her. She's keeping you at a safe distance, not too close, but not too far either. And here's where most men mess up. They respond. They think, maybe she regrets it. Maybe she changed. But in most cases, she hasn't changed at all. If she truly moved on, she wouldn't need to check in. If she truly respected your time, she wouldn't keep leaving breadcrumbs. A woman who values you won't keep you as a backup plan. She won't leave the door open, just in case she ever needs to walk through it again. So if she moved on, but still lingers around just enough to make sure you don't forget her, don't fall for it. The best response? Leave the door closed. If she truly wanted you, she wouldn't be playing games. She'd make it clear. Here's the harsh reality most men don't want to hear. A woman's reaction to your disinterest tells you everything you need to know about what she really felt for you. If she fights for you only when you're pulling away, was she ever truly invested? If she replaces you overnight, was she ever yours in the first place? If she plays games to get your attention back, does she actually miss you, or just the control she had over you? The truth is simple. A woman who truly values you won't wait until she's losing you to start caring. She won't need to play mind games, test you, or manipulate your emotions just to keep you around. And if she does, then she never really wanted you. She just wanted to make sure she wasn't the one being left behind. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever pulled away from a woman and seen any of these reactions? Which one hit home the most? Drop your experiences in the comments and I'll be reading and responding. Let's talk.